So now what you're going to do, still using your smaller brush, your little brush, we're going to take it and put it in some of the black, and we're going to make the door, which is just a little rectangle right here. Very simple. Nothing fancy there. Now, if you want to, you could put in, and I think I will this time, put an extra window right here. I didn't do it in my other one, but I think I will in this one. It's just like that. And then you're going to do 2 long windows on the end of the house. And they should be this one should be a little bit higher than the other one because it's on the back side. So my paint's kind of gray, but it doesn't matter. It can be gray or black. And then just do the other window right here. And just kind of trail them off down there. So now you got him done. So now we have to do a funky looking a rectangle up here that's like a window in the lighthouse. I guess as you're going up the stairs you can stop and look out the window if you want to. So that's right there, like that. Like I said, yell if I'm going too fast. I'm going to do a line right there. And we'll do a little line up here. And then we just have another little funky thing right here, which I don't know what it is, but that's what we're doing. Okay. And since I made this lighthouse so fat as opposed to my other one, I'm going to put a lighthouse door right here because otherwise there's nothing there. It looks like there's no way into the lighthouse. But you don't need to if you don't have room between here and here. See, on the original one I did, see how I didn't have that much room, so I didn't put a door. But I'm putting one on this one just because it looks funny not to have anything there. Okay, so now we're gonna do one more thing before we let it dry, let this stuff all dry, and we do the grill work, and then we'll be done. And that is, we're gonna paint our light in.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Sure.
Before you get to that.
Okay, why don't we see what everybody's got right now? Hold it up so we can see. Oh, I like that. I think you could put the paint for your lighthouse a little bit thicker where the yellow is going across the sky, because you can see the yellow through your lighthouse, so you might want to make your paint a little heavier right there, because otherwise it looks like the clouds are kind of going through. Hold it up closer to the camera again. And let me see. Yeah, just put a little more paint over that yellow part and then you'll be fine. Or is that your top part where you don't want to paint? That's where you're going to paint brown. Never mind. Ignore me. We're going to paint that part brown. We're going to do that in a second here. You know exactly what you're doing. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to paint in the light, and then we're going to mix some brown and paint this part right here brown. The part that I was just telling Carrie she needed to paint. Okay. So to make brown, if you have brown, feel free to use it. If you don't, we're going to take a little bit of yellow, about the same amount of red, and the same amount of blue. So just take a brush swoop of each one, mix them all together, and you should come out with a brown if you have your colors kind of even. If you don't, in my case, it's still a little purple. So
okay, one more time. The yellow.
Yellow, red, and blue.
Yellow and blue.
Yellow, red, and blue.
Yellow, red, and blue.
Yeah, equal amounts. Now see, I still have, it's turning brown now. I still have a little bit of a purplish cast to it, so that means I'm going to add a little more yellow. And that'll...
Mine's turning green.
Mine's
Okay,
green, too.
if it's green, add red to it. Yes. And you can
I
add,
have to get that color again, Beth.
and you can, oh yeah.
It's a dark green. Dark.
Okay, let me see it. Can you kind of hold your plate up? Okay.
It's right in the middle.
Okay, get off to the side. Keep your brush the way it is with the paint it is, but go off to a different spot on your plate
Yeah.
and add some red to it. Just put the red on your brush and mix it in. Don't mix it into the big puddle. The reason we use these three colors is because they are the primary colors, and you can actually mix any color in the spectrum just using these three colors. We can always buy other colors, which is easier sometimes, but it starts to get expensive when you keep buying colors. What do you got now, Carolyn?
Oh, yeah, I can see brown in
There you
it.
go. Put a little more red in it then.
Not like yours.
No,
but
put a little more red in it. What have you got, Carrie?
Like a tall color.
A fall color? Is it like,
No, tall.
huh?
Like,
Is it orange?
I don't know, mud.
Mud. Yeah.
It's
Mud.
getting it.
That's okay. Add
Yeah,
it.
mud.
Add a tiny bit of black to it, just a tiny bit to darken it a little bit.
Okay.
Not too much black because black has a lot of blue in it. Marion, how are you doing? Do you have brown or are you mixing it?
I have brown. I mean, it's
Okay.
dark brown, but
Yeah, well, you can add a little bit of white. Okay, good. If it's too dark, add a little bit of white, but it's going to go right here in this middle section.
Okay.
Okay, so you're just going to paint it. It's just basically supposed to look different than the rest of the lighthouse. It's like a metal part or something. I don't know what the parts of lighthouses are called, but we're just going to fill that part in. Leave the top part blank because that's where we're going to put the light in a minute. How are we doing on time? Oh, okay. Well, we'll be about 10 more minutes, I think, and then we'll be done. So just do this. Put it thick enough that it covers the sky again, like you did with the blue. So if you need to add more paint to it, add more paint to it. I'm trying to get rid of my black lines here. I have a tendency to want to color inside my black lines instead of painting over them. Okay, and then once you got that done, then just let it sit. And then we're going to mix a light, medium blue color to paint the light. We're going to go ahead and paint the light, and then we're going to do our ground and our detail. So for your light blue, just take blue and white. You want to get kind of a medium blue like that. That's a little pale, but it'll dry darker. Add a little more. And your light is basically kind of like a dome, a ball up here. So you just want to paint a blue ball in here. Kind of a big blue ball. Have it come down to the bottom to where you just painted the brown. And that's
Can
it.
you get the camera on it? So
Oh,
we can
I'm
do it
sorry.
quickly? Yeah.
Hello. There we go.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a blue ball. So just paint it, and then later we'll come in and add some white to it after it's dry. It should take up some space like that, but you're going to see through it because it's glass up there. Okay. Now we're going to take that brown that we made for the ground, and we're going to add some black to it and make it dark. I want to get a dark gray, grayish, blackish brown color. And we're going to do our ground. Now you can make your ground however you want it to be. I'm going to make mine kind of a little hill, I think. It comes up like this. And just paint it right in front of the bottom of your house, because your house is actually not sitting in the front, so the little hill will be in front of it. And then just go from this side and make, doesn't even matter if it looks like some of it is blocking the house a little. There you go. Now I made this, the angle on this is not quite right, so I'm gonna see if I can fix it a little bit. There we go. That's better. Okay, so you just want to have a gray-brown color like this on the bottom of your canvas. And then once you've got it covered with that color, you can come in with a little bit of white and just kind of streak it over the top of to make like a little hill if you want to. That comes in front. And you can make it a little bit lighter on the top here because the sun is hitting it a little bit. I'm actually going to do that, cover up the bottom a little. I don't like the angle of the bottom. Okay, and you just do this. And if you want to make it interesting, you can take, I like to kind of reflect colors a little bit. So if you want to take like a little bit of red and just kind of lightly streak it in there too, then that kind of helps it reflect the colors of the sunset a little bit. Like they're hitting the ground too, because rocks will reflect color. I wouldn't put yellow on there, but you can put some red in if you want to. So you got it like this. So then your ocean is in the background. Your lighthouse is right there. Now let me see what you got before we move on to our details. Oh, this dumb message all the time. Let me make it go away. Go away. Okay. What you got, Marion?
Are you doing the land?
Uh-huh.
I haven't started that yet.
Oh, okay. I'll give you a few minutes then. Just add some black to your brownish color that you were using, and then don't want to make it look like it has snow. I think I better add a little yellow in there. Yeah, messed mine up. I have way too much paint on my brush, for one thing. Now you don't have to make two different color hills if you don't want to. The only reason I'm doing it is because I messed up. So I'm trying to cover up what I did. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let me know when you're done. And sometimes people after a class go and even try the painting again, because you might get it better, or feel like you've got the hang of it better when you try it again on your own. Okay. Now see, that blue is just not going to work. So if your lighthouse is blending in too much with the ocean, like mine is, I am going to add a little bit of white over here on the side. And kind of streak it in there a little bit.
Hey, you boys are being loud.
There we go.
That's what I've got so far.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting in the detail. First thing we're going to do is go up to the light, and we're just going to put in a couple of little white highlights in it to make it look like it's shining a little, or like it's glass at any rate. So we're just going to put in a couple of little highlights, and helps if I pull this down so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And we're just going to go up here like this. Okay, so all we have left now is the detail, and there are two ways you can do the detail. The first way is you can paint it, which I'm going to do. The second way is, and Marion can attest to this, sometimes we use Sharpies. So next class, bring a Sharpie with you, because sometimes it's easier to draw the detail in with the Sharpie than it is to paint it in. But this is not too bad, so we're going to paint it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take black, and we're going to make this second line up here at the bottom of the brown thicker. So just do whatever you have to do to make it thicker. It's a thicker line. Because it's kind of the base for the part where people stand. I don't know what you call that on a lighthouse. And then this line down here can also be a little bit thicker, but not quite as thick. Whoops, well, never mind, I lied. I just made it just as thick as the other one. So technically I wasn't going to make it quite this thick, but it happened, so what am I going to do? I'll just leave it and pretend like I meant for it to be that way. So let's take this out a little bit here to the edge. And then you're going to take, you're going to do a line right down the middle.
Come here, please.
And then a line next to it that has a little bit of a curve to it, but not much. And one on the other side, like that. And then you'll do a big curve on this one right up to the edge of the lighthouse, so it'll be like that. Okay, so you have something that looks like that. And then you're going to do 1, 2, 3, depending on how wide your lighthouse is. Little lines up like this. 4. Oh, I got too much water on it again. So when your paint is dry, you can always go in and draw these in with the Sharpie, which does give you more control. It won't look exactly like paint though. It'll be slightly shinier, but that's okay if you want to do that. So you have one that's right outside the lighthouse like that, and then you're going to do a skinny line across like this. This is the railing. Okay. You have that. Whoops, I messed that up a little bit. Then all we have left to do is the tower, and we are done. And the tower, you're going to take, I'm going to take my medium brush because I think it'll be easier. You take your medium brush, make sure it's dry, and just dip it in black paint and just go across the top of the tower, like, or the top of the brown part like this. You want to make that a little bit thick and make it slant in a little bit like that. Okay. So next week there won't be a class because I'm going to be in Mammoth, but there will be a class the week after, and I'll get everything out early to everybody, hopefully, and what we'll do is I think we'll try and get everybody logged in early before class starts so that we don't have whatever happened tonight. Okay, so there's a line there and a line right here and a line right here. Don't worry if they're super even or not. This is a painting, it's not a photograph, so. And then you're gonna have 2 lines right in front of the light going down. So you have one right here. And one right here. Your light may be a little bit wet, and if it is, that's okay, because those would probably be kind of blended in with the well, since I made that so thick over here, I'm gonna make this one thick to match. So sometimes when you make a mistake, the trick is just to make it look like it wasn't. Like you intend, like well, that's the way I meant for it to be all along. So since I got this too thick, I'm just gonna make them both thick, and then it'll look like it's supposed to be that way.
It's just an angle.
Yeah, that's it. And that, I think, is it. Now, oh no, I forgot the final railing thing up here in front of the light. There's a little railing up here that goes across like this, right in front of the light, and has little there. Okay, so that's all the real the basic stuff for the painting. You can go in later after it's dry and add a few more details if you want to. So what you could do after it's dry, just to give you some ideas, is you could go in, say, take a little bit of white paint and just go along the edge here like this and make it white. Just so it gives it a little bit of light, you know, kind of a lighter color over here. So you could do that. You could go into your clouds and add a little more, streak a little more white in there if you want to. If you're going to do white on that part of the blue, then I would also do some, like up here, just a little. And then maybe a little on this guy down here. Okay. Anyway, you can go in and you can do things like that to it. But you don't have to. You can leave it. But what I would like you to do, and the other thing I would maybe do is go to the doors and the windows and just put a little bit of white over on the side. So say this window, you would put a little bit of white right there, like that. See that? That gives it some dimension so it doesn't look so flat. And you can do the same thing here. I'm just going to take the pen that I used and I'm just going to do this like that. And there's my name down there. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm glad you came. And so next week, no class, but then the week after we'll meet again.